part is fundamental. Can you hear me, guys?
I can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So the first part which we got is fundamental. So in fundamental, we first go through the need assessment. Then we are having the base, business case. In business case, we define that what is the need of the project, and then we are having the management, like how we will get these benefits and how much time it will take, etc. It will be tangible or non-tangible. Similarly, there are different EEF and OPA, so which also affect your project. So we have to keep these factors in mind while working on a project. Then there are different organization. One is functional, in which the project management is having more or less zero authority, and functional manager is having all in all. He is all in all. Then we are having the matrix type of organization. So it is a combination of strong matrix, so which is also called projectized type, in which all power, more or less, all power is with the project manager. Then we are having the weak matrix. In weak matrix, it is a kind of functional matrix. And then we are having the balance matrix. In the balance in between the two. Then, as a result of these inputs, we get the project charter. Once project charter is defined, then the next step is, to identify the stakeholder. So the first part of the stakeholder, that is identification. So we have to identify the stakeholders. Then we have to define whether these are internal or external. So like internal can be PM, CEO, or TM. And similarly in external, we are having different legal requirements, or government bodies, like we are having, PISTL, political, economical, and social, technical, legal, and environmental. Similarly, we are having VOCA, and other parameter as well. So once we identify these stakeholders, we will go through the like how to identify these stakeholders. So we can go through interviews, brainstorming, meetings, and other facility. Once we have done this, we will move toward the second part, that is the stakeholder register. So in which we will, take all the data and register the stakeholder. Then we can identify their expectation, like low, medium, high. Similarly, we can define their levels, like upward, downward, sideward, sorry, and to whom you are reporting, etc., or they are reporting to you. So the third portion then comes, that is stakeholder prioritization. Like what are their prioritization? So it could be low or low interest, high power, low interest, and low power, high interest, and high power, high interest. So keeping in mind their, prioritization, we have to deal each party. Like suppose, for example, high power, high interest, we have to keep them, manage closely, because they are the key stakeholder. Similarly, the last part is stakeholder engagement plan. So once you filter the level of satisfaction, then there will be two type. You will face two type of level, with the current level and desired level. So upon the requirements, you will need your management to control them. Like suppose the current level could be unaware, resistive, supportive, neutral, leading, and the second one, that is desired level, that could be, up to you, like how you can control it. So that's all is the stakeholder. So now next, please.
Yeah, next is
I have done my part, so you please.
Yeah, can you move on to communication? Yeah, because it's on the left side actually. Can you move the screen, please, on the right, because I cannot see. Yeah, a little bit down. Yeah. So then it comes to after fundamentals and stakeholders, it comes to the communication. So communication is basically when we start, it's basically there are three main parts. Okay, that is planning, then communication, planning, management, and that define the types, the owners, reporting, and reporting format, that how the reports or the format or the frequencies, and then the fourth part is the escalation part. Okay, so then management of communication is meeting people, sending reports, agreeing on how to manage the communication and how the reports will be sent, what will be the frequency of the reports, conducting the meetings with the stakeholders to engage them. And then we need to consider the first, the main part is, which is 4 R's: right information at the right time, to the right people with the right impact. Okay, and then the last part is monitoring and controlling the communication, which is we need to define the process, that what information to be shared with which one at what time, and then plan versus actual, that what is the plan to be sent. And then there is something called efficient communication, then efficient format, we have to do it, and right audience actually. So this is basically the communication part, because I'm just doing it high level because we have 15 minutes, so we need to go to the next level as well.
We can just finish with the team and risk, and then
because Usha has her own screen to present actually.
Okay, guys,
can
your
take
time
over
is
for the
running.
agile.
Right, your time is running. Do whatever you want to do. Your time is running. I just want to add that.
Yes. Usha?
Guys, you need better.
Okay,
planning.
okay, I'm presenting the scope management.
Okay.
So in scope management, we first learned about requirement management plan, in which we had requirement documentation and requirement traceability matrix, which is an Excel-based file in which we define relation, purpose, and responsibilities. So in the requirement management plan, we have important and non-important requirements, out of which scope is filtered, and then project scope statement of work is defined. Then this statement of work is decomposed into manageable parts, which is called work breakdown structure. This work breakdown structure is consisted of work package, planning package, control accounts, and the lowest part is planning package, and the highest one is control account. Then we have also W-based dictionary, in which there are details about planning package. Then we learned about scope creep and scope gold plating, which is a deviation from scope and adding something extra to the scope. So that's all from scope management. Anyone go ahead for schedule management?
Guys, I expected a better planning. You guys were like the most heavy planners, project planners, program manager in this group. Usha, what is happening here? I suppose you guys had 2 groups.
Yeah, I think she's trying to share. Yeah, now she can share the screen. Yeah. Okay.
So I did Agile. Agile is basically an umbrella term, and it is an iterative development. We have 4. Oh my God, we have 4 Agile. Oh my God.
Please go ahead.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's
My
okay.
mind.
Don't worry. Take a deep breath. Just try to do
My
that.
screen just went off. I don't know, right? Let me just
Don't
share.
worry. Don't worry. Easy. Just try. Try doing it. We are all here friends here. Okay. Where is the mind map? In which area did you make?
On right side. On right side, there,
Okay. Okay.
near the tray.
Okay.
Miss Usha, on right side below. Zoom, you can click on.
Usha, easy. No problem. Try to find it if you can. No problem in that. So guys, things do happen when you are implementing the project. Planning is one thing, but whenever you are doing execution, so things do happen. You don't need to worry about that. I had multiple students giving PMP exam. One of the student who cleared PMP, the last student before Amir from batch 3, he actually went to give the exam, and in the center he was at question number 121, and the internet turned off for that entire area in India. So they said him, okay, wait 30 minutes. He waited for 2 hours, but the internet from the area came back, but the center never came back. And they asked him to reschedule. Just imagine, you have done more than 120 questions and you
Oh my
cannot do
God.
the exam. And that's not your fault. He asked me what to do. I said him, reschedule it for the next day. He rescheduled for next day and he got all above target. Things do happen. That's why in project management, we do work around. So let's be open to that. These are the things. Usha, are you able to do that? I think just no problem into that. Very well done, team one. Team one, do you have anything else to share? No issue into that.
No.
No.
Actually, Usha made the best mind map for
Okay,
Agile.
let's put it that, no problem. Okay, very well effort team one, and team one had to do multiple workarounds. In the start, no one in that team has started using Miru, so I kind of scolded them why they haven't done it before. So now team two, please, team two, just start. Team two, can you go ahead? It's okay, Usha, no problem. It wasn't meant to. Okay, yeah, please. Kindly continue, team two.
Hello everyone, this is
Yes.
Abdul Samad here.
Yeah.
So I am representing team 2. First of all, I will go through the overall training, PMP training that we have done so far. So on the day 1 PMP training, we had some introduction regarding PMP and PMP exam procedures, how many questions will be there and how to solve the questions. And then we discuss about some fundamentals and stakeholders. These are the major topics that we discussed. And after that, we discussed about communication and team. And then we have agile, risk, quality, requirement, scope, schedule, cost, and business environment. So I will go through first through fundamentals. In fundamentals, we discussed first of all about the project, what is project and why do we do the projects, what is the need of the project. And then we discussed about the program, or what is program, and then portfolio, what is portfolio, and then operations, what is the difference between projects and operations. And then we discuss about some project management, what is project management, and then some tools and techniques for business evaluation, business values. We have some internal and external business values to find.
Okay. I guess I lost your voice. I'm unable to hear you.
Through some techniques, we have WEF organizations. We have discussed about types of organization. There are three to four types of organization. There are projectized. Then we have matrix organization. In matrix organizations, we have weak matrix, and then strong, then balanced matrix organizations, and then we have virtual organizations, and then first functional organizations. After that, we started how to build a project, or first of all, for that we have to create a business case, and then we have we have to study about business requirements, and then we have some business studies. We have to do some business studies for that. After that, business case is prepared, and that business case is approved by a sponsor. And after the approval, we have a project charter. And after
I am unable to
project
hear
charter,
you.
we assign the project and project styles in fundamentals due to internet issues.
Okay, Aga, continue.
And after that, we discussed about some leadership styles, like we have transformational, interactional, servant leaders, systematic leadership, transactional leaderships. And we have discussed about some life cycles. We have like predictive, adaptive, agile, or hybrid life cycles. And in life cycle processes, there are 5 processes, like we have initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, controlling, and then we have closing of the project. This is all the major that we have discussed about the fundamentals. And after that, we discussed about the stakeholders. So I would like to hand over to one of my team member. He will continue.
Okay, thanks, Aga. Praveen here. So I'm going to take stakeholder. So under stakeholder, we're going to identify the stakeholders. We have several methods: the PESTEL, past history, charter, or business case, or benefit management plan. So these ways we can identify the stakeholders, and then we run them from upward, downward, sidewards, internal, external, and we classify the stakeholder based on priority. So which is actually the power interest method, stakeholder cube, salience model. And we update all these things in the stakeholder register. Once it is done, we have stakeholder engagement metrics, where we do this determination of current engagement and decide engagement. And once it is done, we have stakeholder engagement plan, where the strategies are converted to, from the current engagement to the decide engagement, we convert it. So that's all about stakeholder, and Salah is going to take it forward.
Okay, teams. I think let's start teams. We have here teams with virtual, physical, and identifying skills, negotiations, and hiring, team training. And we have here the stages of Techman ladder, stages of teams: forming, storming, norming, performing, and joining. We have also conflict management: smooth, accommodate, withdraw, avoid, collaborate, problem solve, force, direct, compromise, and reconcile. We also have the conflict management: problem to solve, disagreement, context, crusade, world war. We have also organizational theories, which we not have time to include, but we have some theories: Maslow hierarchy of needs, theory of X and Y, expectancy theory. I think that's okay. Let's also add with the conflict management, emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, interpersonal skills, social skills, and empathy, and active listening. That's the teams. So maybe someone will take the communication. Thank you, guys.
Who will take from there?
Yes,
I'll take from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I will take this.
Okay.
No, I guess Frial was doing. Let Frial do. Okay. Please.
I was going to do quality. So quality is but we didn't get the time to write it. Sorry for this. Quality is the degree of excellence of something. We can measure the standard of a product against another one. So normally in quality, we have the cost of quality, which is equal to the cost of performance, the amount of money that we keep to review the failures of the product, or to do the assumptions, etc. After this, we have to do the audit of quality of a product. Audit quality is equal to quality control. It is to ensure that the right deliverables is being made, known also as verified deliverables, to ensure that the right product is being produced up to the quality plan. After we have verified the deliverables, we send it to the client for approval. And upon the quality of the product, we have tools that we use normally to control the quality of the product. Control charts like Ishikawa analysis, Six Sigma, Pareto diagram, scatter diagram, or check sheets, as well as sampling. Normally we can do random sampling or statistical sampling. So while we are producing a product, we have quality regulations that we have to observe. For example, ISO 9000. We have the quality management process interaction that we have to respect. We have the quality management plan so that we can coordinate all the processes correctly to produce the required quality product. We have benchmarking which result in the quality of the cost of quality of the product. We have quality metrics as well as quality assurance. This is for quality.
Aga, can you make it communication?
Yeah, I guess Shafiq is doing. Shafiq, you are doing?
Communication.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, the communication we have mainly 4 R's, and also we have communication methods like push communication, pull communication, and interactive session. And we have communication plans. In that, we have 7 strong C's, and we have a communication channel. You can find it out by a formula n into n-1/2, and we have some techniques also. By this we are considering the lesson learned register, some others also.
Okay, is this done, guys?
I think Kevin was going to.
Yeah.
Kevin, you
we
there?
have Agile also.
Yeah, who's gonna cover Agile? Because that's what I'm waiting for. Who's going to cover Agile?
I think Mr.
Okay, who is covering Agile, Aga, from your team? Real, can you do?
From team 2, anybody was going to cover this?
Yeah, sure.
Real, please do.
So Agile, we normally respond to the change, even if it is slowing down work on change, even if it's late. So Agile, we have Agile Manifesto. We have the 12 Principles of Agile. From Agile Manifesto, we have individual interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and responding to change. Agile, among the 12 principles of Agiles, we have make customer happy. Change can be anytime. Deliverable should be quick delivery. Customer needs to work together. Get a team who can work together. Face-to-face communication is important. Whatever work, get it done. Whatever at any way that it has to be. Consistent pace. Simplicity is the art of maximizing only important things. Self-organizing team. Work to improve yourself and make a retrospective of what has been done. We have some concept also that we can cover in Agile. Time boxed. Teams, risk to be reduced. So we also have Agile planning, sprint planning, daily stand-up, Scrum review, sprint, I can't see the other part. Sprint, retrospective. So in Agile, we also have some documents, some folders that we keep to keep the reports.
Faryal, your team's time is up. Thank you very much. It was 15 minutes and your time's up. Thank you, team 2. It was very well done. Thank you very much. Team 3, please, it's your turn now. Team 3.
Yeah. Ali will present it on our behalf. And then.
Yes. Guys, please start.
Ali, you're on mute.
Okay. Can you guys listen now?
Of course. If you unmute, we can listen.
Okay. First of all, the project manager, project management. In project management, we have fundamentals, and in fundamentals, there is a definition of the project. That is, the project is a temporary in the where, and and on what basis the project is selected, that companies do need assessment, then they develop a business case, then from business case we drive business management plan. There are two kind of plan, one is tangible and second one is intangible. Then we have project charter, and after the development of project charter, PM is assigned after the approval of project charter. Then we have project life cycles. These are predictive, iterative, incremental, hybrid, agile. Then we have type of organizations. These are the portfolio. A portfolio is a combination of program plus project plus operations. Then we have program. Program has multiple interlinked projects. Then we have operations. Routine operations are routine manufacturing work. Then we have PMO. PMO is kind the post office of the project management. We have directive, supportive, and controlling. Then we have a type of organizations. These are the projectized, in which they do the project-oriented work. Then we have functional. Functional is basically the combination of project plus operations. Mostly it is based on operations. And then we have metrics. In metrics, we have strong metrics, in which PM have high authority. Then we have balance metrics. In balance metrics, PM and FM have the same authority, and if they got into a conflict, they go to the sponsor for the decision. Then we have beat metrics. Beat metrics is PM is coordinator. On the other hand, we have OPAs. OPA is the knowledge repository of organization. Then we have external environmental factors that have the impact on the project. These are the PESTEL, BUCA, and there may be internal and external factors. Leadership styles, we have service leader, transformational leader, PM as a service leader, transformational leader, charismatic, interactional, laissez-faire, and transactional leader. These are basically the leadership style of the project manager. Then we have then we have stakeholders. In stakeholders, we have in stakeholders, first of all, everyone who thinks that who perceives to be affected and has impact by the project is called the stakeholder. Stakeholder could be many of types. The identification of the stakeholder stakeholder can be identified by using the lesson learned register, by a sponsor, by PESTEL technique. And then we have stakeholder engagement plan. In stakeholder engagement plan, we assess the stakeholder types. These are kind of supportive, resistive, leading, unaware. Then we have power interest grade of stakeholders. High power, high interest means we have to manage them closely. High power, low interest, we keep them satisfied. Low power, low interest, we put them on watch list. These are the kitchen staff. And low power, high interest, we keep them informed. Then we have the stakeholders classified accordingly to the stakeholder cube. That is simply the power interest grid plus any X variable that we use to classify, for example, geography. Then we have a salience model. Salience model is based upon power, urgency, legitimacy. That's it. And then we have communication. In communication, there are 4 R's of communication. That is right time, right impact, right people, right place. And the basic communication model is sender, message. Sender sends a message to receiver, receiver encodes it, and anything that is not understandable or unwanted, the message is called noise. Then we have 7 C's of communication. First one is from first to bottom is correct, clear, concise, complete, courteous, concrete, and coherent. Our all communication should be based upon this model. Okay, then we have types of communication is push communication, pull communication, interactive. Then we have formal and informal communication. Email is an informal communication. That is very important to remember. Then we have verbal and non-verbal communication. Okay, now I over to director.
Hi, I'm gonna share my screen.
No, you can do it from here. Yes. You have done quality?
Yeah, I can speak to it if you want to point out. Okay, perfect. Quality, it starts with benchmarking. We compare with common standards. There's the cost of conformance, which is what we incur to avoid failures, and there's the cost of non-conformance that it occurs as a result of failures. We have quality metrics, and in that we can use KPI. We also have control charts. When we have a plot, data plot outside of the chart, that's a special cost that we investigate. And then we also investigate if there's 7 plots in the same side of the chart, and we need to do a root cause analysis. Sampling it's done. We measure tolerance, or it could be pass or fail. We use Pareto Charts, which it's a data chart that helps us identify recurring defects, and we use the 80-20 rule. And the scatter diagram is another tool that helps us establish correlation between variables. Once the quality, the deliverable is passed and validated by the quality processes, we can say that the deliverable is verified. We do that by audit, which talk about we inspect the process, and inspections which inspect the deliverable. In risk, a risk is basically is the uncertainty, and we measure it by probability and impact with the formula R equals P times I. We use a risk matrix to classify the risk. The analysis starts with could be qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative is not mandatory in most projects, but qualitative is. We can use influence diagrams to qualify it. In the quantitative system, we can use a sensitivity or tornado system to verify the individual risk, or the Monte Carlo analysis, which results in an S-shaped curve, and it measures multiple variables. And they're also costly tools. The expected monetary value, we can identify the cost of the risk by using decision trees. And in handling the risk, we analyze the risk either as a threat or an opportunity. In threats, we either avoid, we mitigate, or we transfer. Opportunities we can exploit, enhance, or share. And if we accept the risk, we establish a contingency reserve or plan. In project risk management, we use strategy, we capture the strategies, methodology, roles, and responsibilities. We also assess the risk appetite of the stakeholders, risk threshold, and risk tolerance. For resources, can you scroll to the top? Thank you. We have types of resources. We have manpower, material, machinery, and money. We also saw the Tuckman ladder establishes how teams work, and there's several steps. It's forming, which needs a directive type of management. Then we have the norming, storming, performing, and adjourning. Levels of conflict during any stage can escalate from problem to solve, next disagreement, followed by contest, crusade, world war. The motivation theories, we had Maslow, which is the hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid that starts with 5 physiological needs up to more like personality things. Then the Hesberg talk about hygiene needs, which can be not motivators, but could be demotivators if not present. Then we have the theory X and Y, where X implies that projects need constant supervision, whereas Y gives people more freedom to perform. In McClellan, the motivators are power, achievement, and affiliation. In a resource management plan, we have the RACI matrix or the RAM matrix.
Okay, thank you, Director. Where is Datta?
Yes. I will be explaining Agile.
Okay.
Who is explaining Agile?
That's it.
Datta, I expect a better explanation. Please start.
I'll try, sir.
So guys, before Datta start, everyone is having internet connection here. Dubai, we have a windstorm. Back at home, Pakistan, we had a windstorm. Usha is saying she had a tornado. So all over the world, there's an internet connection that is lagging. So don't worry about that if your connection is causing problem. It's interestingly all over the world right now. So please, Datta, continue.
Yes. So Agile is basically mindset. We start with the manifesto. There are four major points in the manifesto: individuals and interaction over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. Then there are the 12 principles of Agile. Then in Agile planning, we first develop the product vision, then product roadmap, then we do the release planning, and then the iteration planning. For that iteration, we need the product backlog, first of all, which is done by dividing the user stories, all the user stories, and then prioritizing that. And then sprint planning is done. In sprint planning, there is zero sprint, then the consecutive sprints. In the zero sprint, they are what you can say planning for the initial sprint goal and everything. Then the sprints, when the sprint goal is defined, so the team takes on whatever user stories they can complete in one sprint. And then during the sprint, they have daily stand-up in which that is a same time, same place meeting, in which they discuss what we had done yesterday, what we will do today, and are there any impediments or obstacles. Then the team and the Scrum Master, they discuss the problems, etc. And then at the end of the sprint, the product owner, customer or the sponsor, and the team and Scrum Master all gather at one place to review the products. Whichever user stories are 100% complete, that only are included in the presentation to the client, and the incomplete stories are left out, and then they go to the next sprint. So in sprint review, after if the client as per the what you can say acceptance criteria, if the whatever they have features and that development, so that is if it is okay as per the acceptance criteria, the client accepts them. And if there is some issue, they reject the client or the customer reject that. So during sprint retrospective, just after the sprint review, there is a sprint retrospective in which the team and the Scrum Master, they gather to have this what they have done wrong in the current sprint or the what you can say, previous sprints, and what they can do to achieve improve the quality of the product in the subsequent iterations like the sprints. So and they then there are other types also. Sorry. After the sprint, these are the 5 sprint major agile events or ceremonies, we can say. And during the agile, we use one up, one down charts, etc. To measure the velocity and the work, etc. Then what we can other types are like Lean, Scrum, XP, Kanban, DSDM, FDT, EDT. Like that. So, but they are not covered in detail for our exam. We have not gone through detail due to the lack of time. So, Ravindra, you can start with the procurement.
Yes, for the procurement, yeah.
Yes, just about.
And for the procurement, for the planning, we have to decide first whether we have to make or to buy. And then we come up to the source selection criteria where it is with the quality, the cost, and the time it affects our decision, either we make or we buy. And the tools that we need for the source selection criteria is past references. You can have please go up a bit, yeah. You can have from where to buy and many other things. And we come up to the type of contract where we have 3 types of contract. First is the fixed cost. Second, you have the variable scope. And the third one is the time and material. And in the fixed cost, you have 3 types of contract. But the first one is a firm fixed price contract. The second one is the first fixed plus incentive fee. And the third one is with economic price adjustment. And the variable scope, we have 3 types. Again, we have first, which is a cost reimbursement plus fixed fee. The second one is in cost reimbursement plus fixed fee and incentive fee. And the third one is cost reimbursement plus fixed fee and award. And the third one is a hybrid type of contract, which is time and material, and we have to pay as we use it. And then from the planning, we get the procurement statement of work.
Ravindra, we are not hearing your voice.
Yes, the procurement statement of work, where we get the details of the services, the products, and the result. And then we move on to the contract procurement, where we invite for proposal. And after we get the invitation, we get all the requests for proposals, the requests for quotations, the requests for information. We hold a bidder conference where the buyers explain the requirement to the vendors and reply to all the queries of the vendors. And after that, we do a data analysis. We verify all the offers from the vendors, and then we start the negotiation process. And after the negotiation process, we come up to an agreement with the vendors. And just for the control procurement, we have not been able to do it due to lack of time.
Lack of time is never an issue. Management of the time. Okay, guys. Did you write? Okay, welcome. Guys, that's it from your side?
Schedule.
Okay.
Schedule management.
Do that.
We have activity list. And we have in activity, we have leading activity, lagging activity. We have activity dependency. We have to define activities. We have to sequence activities. Then we estimate activity duration. We have developed schedule and control schedule. Okay. Then activity there are there are types of activities. These are finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, start to finish. Then we have critical path. Critical path is the longest activity in the project, and the float of the critical path is 0. Then we have schedule compression technique. These are two, fast tracking and crashing. Then we have estimation of the schedule. And these are analogous estimation, parametric estimation, bottom-up estimation, and 3-point estimation. In 3-point, there is a triangular and beta estimate. That's it.
Okay. Anything else, Ali?
Done, sir.
Okay, from your side. Good. Well done, team 3. Team 4. Team 4. Isra, Jamoi.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Satya here. So, Jamoi, you are going to start with on the fundamentals. Let me know once you can able to see my screen. Jamoi?
We are able to
Yes,
see
yes,
screen.
yes. Okay. So we have the organizational strategy. We have programs, which is the collection of related projects, portfolio, collection of projects and programs non-related, and projects which are temporary. We have some factors, and that is the EEF, enterprise environmental factors, cultural and political or aspects of that. We have OPA, which is organizational process assets. We have the lessons learned, and that can be updated. We have PESTLE, political, economic, social, technical, legal, and environmental. Okay, we have organizational types, projectiles, a balance, matrix, weak matrix, strong matrix. We have leadership styles. We have 6 leadership styles: layer-sphere, transactional, servant, transactional, servant, transformal characteristics, interactional. We also have the project types and incremental, agile, scrum. We have predictive, which is waterfalls, outcomes are fixed, and we have the hybrid, which is the combination of both. We have the PMO office is a part of the organizational vision, and they provide the best practices. We have a breakdown of the agile, which would be 4 values, which is individuals and interactions over processes and tools, work and software, customer collaboration, responding to change. We have the Agile Manifesto, that's a factor. 12 Principles of Agile, that's a factor. The MVP, the minimum viable product. We have the sprint, that's 1 to 4 weeks, daily stand-up. We have the Agile assumptions, rolling wave planning. We have the documents, which will be the product backlog and the sprint backlog, user stories and epics. We have the agile teams, which will be the product owners, scrum master, development teams. We also have the sprint review, sprint retrospective, and sprint planning. That's all a part of the agile.
Okay, so maybe I can continue. Then probably I'll hand over to somebody from my team. Okay. So I think, thank you, Jeremy, for for walking through on Agile. So let's look at the predictive. What are the things, how the flow will look like? So we kind of are trying to segregate out from the initiation, then planning, then execution, then monitoring and control, and then closing. So first of all, what we are trying to do is, even though before Agile, we are going to have a need assessment where we wanted to look at what is the business need and documents and all. Then based on that, we create a business case. Right, and the benefit management plan will be created for the business case, which describes on what metrics will be utilized, who will be benefited, what type of metrics will be utilized for measuring the benefits for the projects. Then once we create that, then we initiate the phase and we develop the project charter. So once the project charter is created, then we identify the key stakeholders. So what we do in key stakeholders, we kind of create the strategies, stakeholder registers, and stakeholder analysis and classification of the mapping, then create stakeholder engagement metrics where we trying to see the power grid metrics, and share the project charter with the key stakeholders and select the project type. I mean, we already saw about the Agile. So we are kind of talking about the predictive now. If it is a single delivery, then we are going for the predictive. If it's a single delivery with multiple iterations, then we are going for iteration. And if we are having the multiple deliverables, then we are going for incremental. And if we are having both, then we go for hybrid. So the moment we have the identification stakeholders, then we go for a planning phase in which we develop all sorts of project management plans. So first of all, we come up with a scope plan where we kind of come up with a scope management plan and requirement management plan. And then in the scope itself, we kind of collect the requirement as a first step, where we define the requirement documents, requirement traceability metrics. Then we define the scope, where we filter the scope about all the things, and we use Moscow and product analysis and so on. And then we define the project scope document. So once we define the project scope document, we create a WBS, and WBS is an outcome of this. And WBS dictionary is one of the element which we wanted to go in detail about what WBS looks like, what are the code accounts look like, what are the work packages look like. All the information will be there here. And then finally, we come by collaborating all the things, we come up with the scope first, our first scope baseline. Then we go for the project schedule in the same fashion like what we went for the scope, in which we sequence the activities, we estimate the activity durations, and we develop the schedule. So where we get our schedule data, then we get the project schedule, then project chart, project calendar, and ultimately we get our schedule baseline. So maybe somebody else from my team can take up next, maybe cost and quality.
Yes, I will take. So then we'll have plan cost management. We have estimation cost, determine the budget. In determine budget, we have a budget, project fund requirement, cost baseline. Then we will go to plan quality management, as we will have a quality management plan and quality metrics. We'll have a plan resource management, as we'll create a resource management plan. We have a plan risk. In plan risk, we'll have identify the risk, qualitative risk analyst, quantitative risk analyst, plan risk analyst. Can you go down? Then after that, yes, we will have plan procurement management. After that, plan stakeholder engagement, as we have stakeholder engagement defined. Here we'll define stakeholder in strategy and approved by sponsor. Then after that, all PMP approved by sponsor, kick-off meeting. Can you go down? It's not showing to me. No, yes. Yeah, execution plan. In execution plan, we have acquire resource, development team, manage communication, conduct procurement. And conduct procurement, here we have multiple things. Then we have management stakeholder engagement, direct and manage project work. Here we'll create deliver, get WPD, create issues log, and we'll implement risk response, and manage a project knowledge, manage quality. Here at the end, we'll go to monitor and control phase. So anyone in the team will continue? Team?
I could continue.
Okay.
Please.
Jeremy, you already did one topic, no?
Yes.
Jeremy did, Satya, you did one topic, and Isra did one topic. Adnan or Pradeep Kumar, why don't you do? Pradeep Kumar? Adnan? Yahya?
Or I will continue. It's okay for me.
Yeah, I could continue as well.
Okay, so you continue. After that, Jeremy can do it. Okay.
Okay. For monitor and controlling phase, we'll have monitor stakeholder engagement, monitor control project work, perform integrated change control scope, schedule, cost, resource. Then we'll go to monitor communications, and in monitor risk, we will have audit, reserve, risk review meeting, performance. Then we'll have control procurement, control quality, validate scope. So anyone will continue with the closing? Yes, okay.
So just to make sure we reference the after control procurement, to inspect, dispute, legal, close procurement, update documents, send documents for closure, the quality control, the internal inspection, test and verify deliverables, quality control measurement, validated changes, and then validate scope, accepted deliverables, closing phase of the project, final product delivered, final report. What did we miss? Anything?
I think in this one we missed out to have the final lessons learned registered done, and then release the resources for the PM or for the next project.
I know that there's risk on the left side. If you move to left, like I know that I had risk where I put the 5 stages of conflict: collaborative, avoid, comprising, smoothing, accept, the risk averse, risk seeker, risk neutral. That's while monitoring risk, you could find out your risk tolerance, your risk appetite, your risk threshold, the Monte Carlo analysis, the influence diagram, the sensitivity analysis. There's a risk report. Ensures the process is being followed. That there's a risk audit, a risk response, negative avoidance, which would be to negative. If it's a negative risk response, will be avoidance, mitigate, transfer. Positive, exploit, enhance, share. If there is a new risk, we add to the risk register and initiate a change request. That's kind of the process that's followed. That we have everything on the top. Is everything?
Yeah, I think we covered.
I
almost
put a
everything.
little bit of, I kind of was adding things on the side.
Thank you, Jamai. Okay, last
the
thing.
kind of teams I had on the bottom left, the types of teams.
Okay, Jamai, thank you very much. Okay, last team, I guess, team 5. Ali Al Balushi, Amit.
Yes,
Dinesh.
I'm starting. Starting.
Jamai, please. This was
I'm just sharing this.
This was one of the best mind map that we have seen today. Very well done, team. Okay, team, please. Thank you.
Can you see my screen? I don't know. Let me just stop and reshare again.
No, we can see your screen. We cannot see your mind map. Yeah.
Okay. This is the center of the mind map. So I will start with the fundamentals. From the fundamental, normally, it's the organization environment. Normally, they do the projects to create the business value. They start with the strategy portfolio, where they do the value and decisions, program and projects, and then it goes into the operation. In the business environment, there are internal and external factors. In the internal, it is lesson learned and OPs, and external, this is PEST, TPOP, and VUCA. And in the organization, then it comes on organizational structure, functional, projectized, and metrics. In the metrics, we have strong balance and a weak matrix. This mainly focuses on the power of the project manager. And then we have the 6 leadership styles: laissez-faire, transactional, servant leader, transformational, and charismatic. This relates to the project manager. And the main thing, it comes start from the portfolio and from the top. It includes it's related projects and also the operations. In the program, it is all interrelated projects only. And then we have the program management office role that is supportive, directive, and controlling. And here the main project comes that is actually unique, and it has some objective to meet, and it closes. Why we do the project? Because it's a market demand, legal requirements, organization need, customer request. Project has some constraints that are risk, time, quality, resources, and that it has influences, that is environmental factors, external, and OPS. And in the project, then we have the project life cycle that are predictive, that has a single outcome, and then Agile, that is iterative incremental. And then we have the combination of both. However, we do follow as per the development cycle, and we tailor it as per the requirement of the organization. And then we have the mainly project documents or areas that is project charter that comes in the initiation, but the document I have mentioned here. And then we have the process groups, that is initiation, planning, executive, monitoring and control, and closing. And then we have knowledge areas like in all these, overall project management, this integration, scope, schedule, cost, quality, risk, all of them we actually plan. And once a project is completed, and then the operation starts. So the second thing is the procurement. I will explain that we do procurement. First is the planning phase. We do plan procurement. We do make and buy analysis, what to buy, how to buy, and then in the execution phase, normally we conduct procurement that start with selecting the seller. How we do the bidder conference, and then we do the PSOW, that we call procurement statement of work. And then we do start receiving the proposal, and then after analyzing the proposal, that we reach to some agreement with the seller, and then we sign some contract, that is fixed form and cost reimbursable reimbursement contracts, and then we have time material. From fixed to the time material, the risk increases. And then we have monitoring and controlling of procurement. Then we do control procurement, receiving deliverable, checking its quality. We do the payments, and once all the things are done, then we close the contracts. So we go again. Next is Dinesh, please.
Okay, thanks, Zahur.
Yeah.
Can you move to the strategy?
I don't
Stakeholder.
know. Right or left? I don't know. I told you you have to find your own area. Okay, it is here. Okay.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll help you.
Okay. A stakeholder is an individual or a group that may get affected by the decision, activity, or the outcome of a project or a program. So that's the definition. So having looked into that, the stakeholders are of first we need to identify the stakeholder journey, and under the stakeholder journey we could see. Can you go down, please? Go up. Yeah. So under the stakeholder journey, we need to identify the stakeholders fundamentally, and then after identifying the stakeholders, we need to create the stakeholder registers, and then try to plan the stakeholder management. We also try to do the stakeholder engagement matrix, and then monitor and control the stakeholders. As a part of the identification process, we use different techniques. One is expert judgment, data gathering, and data analysis. So on the data gathering part, we try to use the questionnaires and surveys to identify. We try to do brainstorming. And once we do that, we try for the analysis part, we do the document analysis to identify identify the stakeholders' information from the collected data. And then once we identify the stakeholders, we need to do the stakeholder mapping. For that, we use the 4-quadrant power interest graph. So as a part of the power interest graph, we'll try to identify how to manage the stakeholders. That is by identifying the power and interest equations. If both are having high, then we'll try to manage them closely. If if let's say the interest is high but the power is low, we'll try to always keep them informed on the activity, what is happening. And if the power is high, the interest is low, then we'll just keep them satisfied with the ongoing activity. And if both the interest levels are low, then we just keep them in the observation of the watch list. And also we use the stakeholder cube and Sarian model methods to know the equation. Apart from the power and interest, we also see the 3rd quadrant, that is either the knowledge or the legitimacy. Apart from that, the direction which typically influences the stakeholder matrices are of 4 types. One is the upward direction, which typically deals with the senior management people, and the downward direction, more or less like an core specialist or an influential team member, or it could be an outward. If it is an outward, it is more related to the external stakeholders. If it is sideward, it more or less related to the project management or the peers. And then we create the stakeholder registers. To do that, we use we kind of do the assessment and classification, trying to understand the name org and then classify them based on the power interest group, and they are using the Sarian model, which we have mentioned above. And then we use a stakeholder engagement plan in order to effectively maintain the collected data. That is fundamentally identifying communication put them in, put the entire thing in the reasonable time frame, and creating the then refining the plan and then updating it in a continuous model. Moving on to communication above. So as the communication says, an effective communication is the key to the successful teams. So in order for the communication to be effective, we need to have three types. The communication is a major three types. One is we need to effectively plan the communication. We have to manage the communication and then monitor the ongoing communication. So the planning is fundamentally done is kind of done by meeting the people, and collecting the reports and escalation in case of an issues pops up, and then it types are of different. It is of 6 different types. That is, it can be a push. Communication could be a pull, interactive, written, or an osmotic communication. Now, for the management part of communication, which is also called as executing, we kind of do by meeting the people, sending the periodic reports, and we do frequent meetings. We also have this communication channel formula, which we typically use to derive. And then in the monitor, we typically do this activity to keep this what is the planning and what is actuals and how things are going. And then in case of something is not right, take the appropriate steps and corrective actions. And there are the 4, also the communication is very important. If it reaches the right, if it is conveyed in the right info, in the right time, to the right people, which is creating a right impact. Otherwise, the whole purpose is not met. And to do that, the 7 C's of communication we have to typically maintain. That is, it has to be complete. The communication has to be complete. It should have the clear clarity. It should be within a concise and should have the courtesy and should be correct. It should be concrete, and it should be having the consideration to solve it. Yeah.
So yes, we go to Talha. Team.
Yes.
Hello, you have made a bit bigger one, so can you see it, or you're checking it from your own screen?
Yeah, I will do it my own. That should be better.
Okay, do your own, and I will move it here and there. You start.
Yeah. The guys, we are having the teams. Inside that, there was a planning. There was a 4. Inside the planning, there was a 4M. There were 4 resources of M. That is manpower, material, machinery, and money. Inside the planning, there was a resource management plan. Inside that, we have the roles and responsibilities. What is the plan? Rewards. Inside the reward, we have intangible. Recognize intangible. That is example like money. And team training and coaching. How we are going to use the decisions. Value we have to follow. Team culture and environment. We have the KPI. Inside the KPI, we are having a specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant time bounds. Okay, inside the RMP, resource management plan, we have the RSI charts and RAM. Team charter, we have team charter, and the social contract, we have the value, agreement, establishing expectation, operating guidance, decision making areas, and conflict resolution process boundaries. Under the planning, we are having the estimates, resource activity, that is expert judgment, and the resource breakdown structures. Besides that, we are having the developing. We are having the execution team, and in the execution team, we have the 2 parts. That is the develop team, that is the technical ladder, that is the team stages. We are having forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. After that, we are having the output of the develop team, that is the team performance assessment. In the execution part, we are having the managed team. There are the 2 categories, that is the active listening and the conflict. First, we're talking about the active listening, that is 80% skills needed, emotional, that is EQ. That emotional intelligence, self-awareness, self-management, social skills, and empathy. And the motivation is the common organ theory, that is theory X, theory Y, expectancy theory, Hasbro theory, Maslow theory, and what the motivational PPL means commitment, achievable driver, initiative, and optimism. If you're talking about the conflict levels, there are the levels 1, that is the problem to resolve, disagreement, level 2, that is the personal, level 3, that is contest, win or lose, level 4, that is crusade, that is the group base, and level 5, that is world war. We don't have want to see this your faces. Under conflict, we have another stage, that is a team technique to identify the conflict. It is contour for ourselves index and contour for other index. Concord for ourselves indexes the winning situation, which is probate. Another is lose LL, that is lose-lose, that is withdraw, win and lose, that is force or direct, or lose or win, that is accommodate. Now we are talking about another team. There was one part that is the monitoring and controlling. Inside that, there is a control process, control resources. Control resources, inside that, there is change requests, project management plan updates, work performance, training in the teams. Another technique we are using over there, that is the performance tracking technique, that is Scrum, cycle team, quality metrics, and bar chart. Now I am going towards the next topic, that is about the scope. Inside the scope, there was a scope. There is a collect requirement and the requirement document. Inside that, there are two parts, that is plan, scope. Plan scope, inside that, there are two parts, scope management and the requirement management plan. Scope management plan, we have the two scope, that is project requirement and there's the product requirement. Inside the product requirement, we are going to develop this, control quality delivery, verified in delivery, validate the scope, change request, and accept and reject and closing. Now I am talking about the scheduling. Scheduling is the inside that
last 2 minutes.
Scheduling management plan, there's two parts, that is the defined activities and the chosen technique. We're talking about the defined activities that decompose the work packet, activity list, activity attributes, milestone, dependencies. Inside dependencies, internal, external. Internal, there was a mandatory, discrimination, and preferred. Inside the decomposed work packet, there is the activity estimation technique, that's the analog estimate, parametric, bottom-up, 3-point estimate. Chosen technique, there was a schedule compression technique, crashing, and fast tracking. Now we're talking about the cost. Cost management plan, estimate, cost baseline. Inside the cost baseline, the chosen technique is funding limit, financing, contingency reserve, and cost baseline is earned value management, SPI, CPI, CV, SPV, and PV. Project estimate, there were a definite rough order magnitude and a phase estimate. Please, team, next topic you may continue.
Which one? Sorry.
Ali will continue. Ali H.
Okay, Ali, Agile, please.
Yeah. So quickly going to Agile. Now, Agile, we started with talking about the mindset. Yeah, it's here, you're correct. Yeah. So starting with the mindset, interaction over processes, working software over documentation, customer collaboration over contract, responding to change over plan. Now, there are 12 principles of Agile. I think we all know them. Going down to the framework of Agile, it contains the XP, Lean, Kanban, system development practices, and most importantly, the Scrum. Now, in Scrum, we do have artifacts such as product backlog, which should be, we should be following invest. We do have sprint backlog, product increment. Also in Scrum, there are 3 roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, Development Team. And there are a few events on Scrum, such as the sprint planning, daily Scrum, in which 3 questions will be addressed, retrospective meeting, in which you should consider these 5 things. And finally, there is a sprint review. Quickly, can you go up to the right to cover the risk?
Risk, okay.
Yeah, up.
Yes, go ahead.
So in risk, we need to identify the risk by using expert judgment, data gathering, prompt list meetings. Then you should prepare your risk register by identifying the risk, putting the potential owner and potential risk response. Then there should be a risk report, and you can use both quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. And you should have a proper risk responses based on the risk, whether it's positive or negative. Finally, you can use some of the techniques in root cause analysis, such as fishbone diagram or 5 whys. So these were our points that we covered in the
We're going for the communication. Amit, integration, please.
I guess we will not be going towards that because you already guys took 1 more minute extra as compared to what was assigned to you. So that's it. All the teams are done. So first of all, let's have a round of applause for all the team.
Thank you.
Okay, let me stop YouTube live. Thank you for watching.